discussion and insight into really what the different types of boards and fair organizations are, how they operate, because without really knowing what you are and what your relationships are to the other people that you work with through the preparation and operation of the fair and other events, you really can't start to do risk management. So we're going to spend quite a bit of time today on that. And we'll see that for each one of you, depending on how you're structured in your county, the way that you're going to have to deal with reducing your claims and dealing with vendor contracts and things like that is going to be significantly different from entity type to entity type. So, first of all, I just wanted to say that we started doing this fair and event workshop I think this is our 5th annual now. And we did it because we saw a lot of claims spinning out of the fair and really just a lot of people not understanding what the different relationships should be. And my main report in my life is to commissioners, like a lot of you. And they're not really understanding after the loss. So we wanted to make sure that we were doing as much pre-loss as we could to help you guys operate your fairs safely and efficiently, and when there are claims and are lawsuits, that we don't all have to go hiding from the commissioners, that we're able to answer the questions, we're able to work through the lawsuits, and nobody needs to be losing their head over it, least of all me. Because, quite frankly, I spend a lot of time in county commission rooms and listen to people come and talk to the commissioners and air their concerns about what the county's doing that it shouldn't be doing and what the county's doing that it's not doing enough of. And I'm really always surprised at the number of times that I hear people attack the counties being involved in fairs and other events. Now, their main argument is that the statute says that counties cannot expend funds on entertainment and recreation. But that's not an area that counties are supposed to be involved in. So that's their main argument. Now, we can all easily justify that the fair and other events does a lot more than just entertainment and recreation, right? It's economic development. It's putting the county on display to show the residents all the good things that happen in the county. It's allowing residents to put on display their abilities, the special things that happen in your county that may not happen elsewhere. It's development of tourism in your county, and development of tax revenue for people that come in from out of state and from out of town. So, we've got a lot of things there to justify and to help protect against that argument that counties shouldn't be involved in these types of events. But again, I want you to know that I'm certainly a big supporter of the fair. I always have been. I attended, my earliest memories, great memories, are of going to the county fair with my family in our hometown. I rode a motocross in the motocross events. I one year actually rode a horse fair. Isn't as common in Minnesota as it is here in Utah. So I'm a big supporter of the fair, and so that's why I've made the commitment to have USIP spend the extra time and effort on this area to make sure that the fair is protected, the events are protected, and that the commissioners are comfortable that we can continue to have these types of events and put down those arguments that are made by some that the county should be involved in it. And just to show you a little bit of just how much of a fair supporter I am, I just wanted to show you the 4 basic food groups as far as the Miller family version of the 4 basic food groups are. There is, of course, dairy. No question about it. But beyond dairy, the second major food group is baskets. The third major food group is cones. And the fourth major food group, my personal favorite, is sticks. So again, I make light of it, but I really think it's important that we can protect the fair and protect these events. And so I know a lot of what you're going to hear today, talk about today, some of it's scary, most of it's just plain boring. But it's really important that we all think about these things in preparation for the fair and throughout the operation of the fair if we're going to continue to have the fair and special events at the level that we're able to enjoy it now. I certainly hope we can. So, as we go through the day, we're going to talk a little bit about procurement, and again, that's going to depend on what type of entity your fair board really is, so we're going to talk about that first. We're going to talk about board member liability today. We have a little break from insurance after the lunch hour to talk about service and volunteerism and how you do things to get better volunteers, more volunteers. I know that's always important to you. We're going to talk a little bit about how to implement a lot of the changes that we're talking about, and get some testimonial from one of the counties that has made some really significant changes in the last 5 years that I've seen in their county fair and how it's operated, and particularly their relationship with the board members, commissioners, and other department heads who they need their buy-in and their assistance to get things done, to do the fair the right way. And then we'll wrap up at the end of the day with a couple of our county attorney's assistants in looking at the different forms and policies and procedures and contract forms and things like that that we can utilize to put in place all the things that we talked about today. Okay? Are you all ready? Hopefully I won't lose my voice before the end of the day. So before we go into procurement, again, it really all depends on what you really are. So what type of an entity are you in your county? And so really it breaks down into a couple different areas that I see. You're either really part of the county, and the county runs the fair or the event, or there's some form of an advisory board that the county has created that does a lot of the work, coordinates the fair, but at the end of the day, the county commission is still the authority that has the power to purchase, the power to sign contracts. You really don't have any legal authority beyond the county commissioners. You are advisory to them and make recommendations for them as to what contractual relationships to enter into and those sorts of things. Then we also have some out there that are separate legal entities. Either you are, as the fair board, that you're operating and you're just simply using the county fairgrounds in agreement with the county, but the county doesn't make the decisions, you make the decisions, you run the fair top to bottom, you are a separate legal entity from the county. Or you're just one of these great groups of folks that volunteer every year and get things put together, and the fair or the other event goes off and everybody's happy. I've seen a lot of those over the years, and hopefully we're doing away with those groups that don't really exist, that don't have any real legal basis to operate. You gotta be a government entity or a corporation or a nonprofit or something. You can't just be a group of do-gooders. If you get sued and you're one of a group of do-gooders, you're losing your house and you're losing your cabin and you're losing your snowmobiles and you're losing everything else you own. And we don't want that. Because again, we want good, strong volunteers assisting us putting these events together. So I thought we'd start out this morning with a little insightful test. And we're going to walk through each of the counties that we've got here today and try and answer that question. Quickly and simply, what are you? So is the Beaver County representative here? Don't you hate being first on the alphabet? At every thing, you just must have to go first, don't you? So tell us, which of the four spheres do you fit into in Beaver County?
Kind of a mix between the county department and the advisory board. I get a stipend because I'm the chairman, but everybody else is volunteer, except for USU Extension and some of the county employees who sit on the board.
Okay, so more or less the board is an advisory board created by the commission to put the fair together?
The commissioners pretty much just will let me do what, that sounds bad, whatever I want, but kind of, as far as getting the people to work, all that kind of stuff, that's my job. And, they provide the funds, and usually they come to every fair board meeting, just one of them comes, so, I don't know, kind of a mix.
From what I'm hearing, I'm going to call you an advisory board because you're still part of the county. The county's paying you a stipend. They're asking you to do the work, and so you're providing that in an advisory capacity. Okay. So, do we have anyone yet from Box Elder?
Me.
Oh, Jan, how are you? I never see the people in the front row.
I feel like I'm county department, advisory board, and hopefully the great groups of folks.
But in your county, I mean, the county is very involved in the actual coordination efforts and stuff. They use an advisory board, but when it really comes to who's running the fair, legally, when who gets sued, and Box Elder, from all the work I've done up there, I'm going to say that you're really operated by the county. Because there is that very close link.
When I get in trouble, that's what I tell them.
Yes. It's good.
Go talk to the
Nowhere to
commissioner.
hide. And Carmen, do we have Carmen here yet?
We're totally county. I'd like to say we're a great group of folks, but we're totally county.
Davis, who from the Davis contingent would like to answer?
I would say we're part of the county department too.
And Shane? So advisory board. And Emery. Do you have anyone from Emery here?
She called and told Sonia she wasn't going to make it.
Oh, all right. Jueb, is our Jueb person coming yet? Let's skip them for now. Rich was also late. No one from Rich yet. San Juan, Crystal.
Advisory.
Severe.
We're county.
Wasatch.
We're council.
And Weaver.
County.
Dave was waiting to hear that answer.
Yes, he was.
Good. Well, and that really helps for me to know that we're not dealing with anybody here in the room today that, first of all, isn't really,